Given that only a few years separated the time when Grievous and Darth Vader would both receive their cybernetics, and some of the same medical droids would actually take part in both procedures that would see their implementation, one might think that the suit and cybernetics of Grievous and Vader would be similar, with the possibility that Vader's would be even more advanced since his were created after. While the term better might be relative in this situation, as Vader was still able to accomplish a significant amount of destruction with his cybernetics, there's no denying that at least based upon their appearance and through their descriptions within the Legends lore, Grievous's cybernetics were far more advanced than what Vader was provided. Fortunately for us, there's a good explanation for this difference within the lore, which we'll discuss and break down in today's video. Let's start with why Grievous's cybernetics were so advanced in comparison to Vader's, where they were a clear upgrade on the combat capabilities Grievous had before them, providing him with a terrifying output of offensive destruction that allowed him to even surpass the abilities of a Jedi. Based only upon what Grievous could accomplish in terms of mobility and combat, the technology used to reconstruct Grievous was tremendously advanced by the time of the Clone War. As described within the novel Labyrinth of Evil, his cybernetics were constructed using duranium and durasteel, components that were far more suited to be used in the creation of starfighters, able to defend against laser cannons. Even more, Grievous's cybernetics included advanced electro drivers, crystal circuitry, and integrated combat algorithms that work through an electronic network of peripheral processors, allowing the Separatist general to produce numerous strikes per second at different speeds and angles. In short, Grievous's cybernetics were designed and built for destruction. The reason why the technology that supported Grievous during the Clone War was so advanced, particularly in relation to Vader as we'll see, is because Grievous's cybernetics and their implementation had the benefits of time, planning, expertise, and an almost unlimited amount of funding for testing and design. Grievous's cybernetics were actually the result of a project that had long been funded by the Intergalactic Banking Clan, known and overseen by the organization's chairman, who of course was working together with the Sith. As the chairman would explain directly to Grievous, the funding of the IBC went to a Geonosian bionic technology project, confident that those who were working on the project had already raised cybernetic technology to an art form, with its value being undeniable in the future. In fact, before Grievous even agreed to the proposal, he was promised there would be no cumbersome life support systems, something Vader would find increasingly frustrating as we'll see. Through the funding of the IBC and the expertise of the Geonosians, Grievous was given his new cybernetics. However, Labyrinth of Evil also reveals that there was a long period of recuperation Grievous was afforded, which suggests that Grievous did have time to test and upgrade his cybernetics where necessary. Only then was the newly reconstructed Grievous seen by Dooku. Therefore, Grievous's cybernetics were the result of a project that had long been planned and developed through the funding of the IBC and the expertise of the Geonosians, specifically dedicated to creating technology that provided the most effective and efficient cybernetics, all of which was known to Dooku and Darth Sidious. Since Grievous's cybernetics were the result of this project, it's likely that there was a period of testing afterwards, where upgrades were provided when necessary prior to the Clone War. All of this is what made Grievous's cybernetics so significantly advanced and impressive by the time of the galactic conflict, and as we'll see, it would be the exact opposite of what Vader experienced in the creation and implementation of his cybernetics after Mustafar. Whereas Grievous benefited from a fully planned and funded project that created the technology he would utilize, the same can't be said for Vader. In fact, the need for Vader's cybernetics wasn't foreseen by Sidious at all, and therefore, there had been no suit or cybernetics already prepared for Vader. As the Legends novels Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader, and Death Star reveal, because Sidious hadn't foreseen or prepared for the result that Vader would need to rely on cybernetics after Mustafar, the entire process that saw their implementation on Coruscant was defined as rushed and pieced together. This was because, although Sidious was able to locate Vader on Mustafar, the truth was, Vader wouldn't survive for long unless he was quickly given the life support systems he needed. Vader was only able to survive the trip back to Coruscant through his rage and fury directed at Obi-Wan, but even more important, through the actions of Sidious, where he used all of his powers and devices to keep Vader alive. And even then, he wasn't completely confident in the outcome. All of this is to say that the creation and implementation of Vader's cybernetics was not the result of planning and significant funding beforehand, as had been the case with Grievous. As Vader himself would come to recognize only a few years before Episode 4, the creation of his suit was defined by the priority simply to keep him alive. In this way, there was no time to tailor all of the life support systems in the most efficient way possible. The features of the suit in Cybernetics were merely adapted from earlier technology, including some designs that had been used for Grievous. While Sidious would recognize that to some, it might appear as though Vader was unskillfully encased in a pieced-together life support shell, for Sidious, the suit and cybernetics of his new apprentice were perfect, given the goals of the Sith. But while this might explain why Vader's cybernetics were less advanced than Grievous's initially, why did they remain this way throughout the entire Imperial era? That is, why didn't Vader upgrade them in the weeks and months after Mustafar? As explained in the novel Death Star, Vader understood that while he could have rebuilt and made his cybernetics more powerful and more comfortable, there was something that stopped him from doing so. He wouldn't be able to survive such a process, as any temporary removal of the systems initially implemented on Coruscant would be enough to kill him, which I would mention doesn't appear to be a problem for Vader within the current canon. For this reason, Vader had to admit that he was dependent upon the suit and cybernetics, together with all of its weaknesses and imperfections that was constructed for him after Mustafar. So there we have it, why Grievous's cybernetics were more advanced than Darth Vader's. Thank you very much to all of the Patreon members of Star Wars Reading Club, as your support is so greatly appreciated. You can find all of our social media links and a link to our Star Wars gaming channel in the description below, for updates and even more Star Wars content. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me... for it still not really being a problem.